Thank you all very much. It's an honor to be here. And I really want to thank Andrea Chan and everyone with Olson and Olson LLP for hosting us, all of us today, and for putting two issues near and dear to my heart at the forefront of the conversation: affordability and the need for enough housing for the greater Houston area. I want to say a special word of thanks to my friend Andrea Chan, right there, where is she? There she is, who invited me here today and who is a great partner with us at Houston Habitat for Humanity. Andrea has worked closely with the Houston Habitat through the Houston Bar Association. The bar is one of our longest supporters, and having supported the construction of 28 homes with funding and volunteer support, we deeply appreciate Andrea and the HBA partnership. 28 homes is great, so can we give them a round of applause? Thank you. So for those I haven't met yet, or had the pleasure of meeting you, my name is Allison Hay, and I've been serving as the CEO of Houston Habitat for Humanity since 2013. Here we go, guys. There. And as we begin, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about who we are at Houston Habitat and also who we are not. There's a popular misconception that we give away homes for free, and that would go under the category of who we are not. Who we are is an organization of Houstonians focused on making homeownership affordable, attainable, and sustainable. We've been your neighbor here in Houston since 1987, and one of the greatest joys of my job, in fact, is meeting people who've grown up in homes we've built and made affordable for their families. Recently, I spoke to a young man who announced that he grew up in a house his parents had purchased with the help from Houston Habitat. He proudly told me that he had just bought his home across the street from his parents. And that's really what we're all about: helping lower income families create generational wealth. The families and individuals who enter our program work hard to become homeowners. When they come to us, they partner with us by completing 50 hours specific to financial literacy training. And this even includes a home maintenance class. And we do that all before they can become homeowners. And that's why we literally call them family partners. We do this because we want to make sure they understand the mortgage process and that they're able to be successful homeowners who will stay in their home for years. In return, together, we lean into our partnerships, our relationships, our friendships to source our families a mortgage that can fit their budget. This includes helping them receive down payment assistance and other subsidies which are designed to ensure they will pay no more than 30% of their income on housing. And we don't drop and run. We stay with them for 30 fun-filled years until they've paid off their mortgage. Now, if you're thinking to yourself that that's not what I thought a habitat is, it's probably because you've seen all those amazing pictures of volunteers with hammers and ladders and tape measures. And that's because there's another piece to the puzzle as well. Our homeowners, our home buyers, help build both their home and the homes of others in their program. So the home construction is really part of what we do, but it's only a part of that story. The whole story is about our neighbors, people who stay in the neighborhood for decades, who tend to their gardens, and they bring their favorite potato salad to the community barbecue. It's neighbors who can afford school supplies for their kids and save a few bucks for a rainy day because they're not paying 50 to 60% of their income on rent. All this is to say that we care a lot about affordability and having enough quality, safe, healthy homes. When I think of why this matters, I think of Ms. Cooks. She is one of our Habitat home buyers. Ms. Cooks is a grandmother, and she's the matriarch of their family. She works as a 911 operator, and she works the late shift, which kind of makes her the matriarch of our city as well, protecting us, looking out for us, making sure we're cared for. In short, Ms. Cooks is everything a good neighbor should be, and I'm so proud that Houston Habitat, we were able to offer her an affordable home. But the simple truth is, Ms. Cooks goes to work at the Houston Emergency Center. Far too many of her colleagues have to commute hours on end to be there with her because homeownership is out of reach for them in the city they love and serve. So let's face it, in Houston, we're failing people just like them, the emergency workers, the police officers, the people who teach our children's schools, the receptionist who makes our offices go, the nurses at the medical center who care for our families. We are not building enough of quality, affordable homes that they need. And we're not doing enough to remove the obstacles and red tape that's making home buying, particularly first-time home buying, difficult for so many people. We don't have enough available resources that make the difference between renting an apartment and owning a home. With this in mind, as your neighbor, and in the spirit of being neighborly, I've come to ask for your partnership. Because like us at Houston Habitat, you in this group of civic leaders understand better than most what owning a home means to a family and what it could mean to our cities if was not so hard to build and buy one. So I want to invite all of you to join me in this very quick exercise. So we're going to do this exercise. Think about your city for a moment, shall we? Let's imagine living in a city that celebrates building affordable homes for families to own. Let's imagine living in your city with your robust program for families to buy homes where every neighborhood has safe sidewalks to stroll with their families. And let's imagine living in a city where millennials and Gen Z view homeownership as something for them and not exclusively for other people's parents and grandparents. I believe this wholeheartedly that we can do this. And you know why? Because we're Texans. Our metro area leads in so many things. Our beautiful port, the energy sector, the medical center. We're the home of the Astros, for gosh sakes. There's every reason that we can be the Astros of home ownership, the best of the best. We lead the country in the construction of single-family homes. We ought to be able to lead in making these homes affordable for single families, don't you think? We're the top destination for relocation in the United States. We should be tops in enticing folks to put down roots. We have one of the world's highest concentrations of Fortune 500 companies that call us home. We should be able to give people at all income levels the opportunity to do the same. If we can have the nation's most diverse population, and we do, we should be able to have the most diverse population of homeowners too. So how do we get there from here? I thought I'd take a few moments to share with you a few of the things that we've learned with our 3.5 decades in the greater Houston area. Lesson number 1, affordability is not a dirty word. Let me talk to you about our Robbins Landing. The other day, I had the occasion to take a prominent philanthropist around Robbins Landing. It's a vibrant, new, mixed-income community that we are developing on 127 acres in our northeast Houston. It's a mile from the county line. I didn't know if you know, but we develop communities as well as building homes. So when you hear me describe Robbins Landing, what do you imagine? Well, you're in for a little surprise. Let's take a look inside, shall we? That's our homes. Beautiful, don't you think? How many of you had the same reaction that my friend had when he turned to me and he said, I had no idea this is what y'all did? Because when you enter Robbins Landing, the first thing you notice that all the sounds of a busy city, the 18-wheelers, the honking horns, it all cascades away into serenity. You take a look around and you'll notice a stunning Central Park, beautiful 3 and 4 bedroom single-family homes with 2-car attached garages, and the site is of a future town center with all amenities and services that you could want. Unlike the typical development where the affordable units are all stuck in the back of the last 2 streets, in Robbins Landing, you can't tell which units are which because they're all gorgeous and they're all intertwined. We hear this from people all the time. I'd love to live here. So all this leads me to one of the first lessons we've learned. Affordability is not a dirty word. At least it doesn't have to be if you're intentional about the way you build and you maintain things. Lesson number 2, homeowners make great neighbors. When you plan to live somewhere for the long haul, you'll truly be invested in your neighborhood. Statistically, homeowners are more likely to join neighborhood associations. They're more apt to vote and be part of the community. And the reason is obvious. If you're investing in a 30-year mortgage somewhere, you're more likely to invest in the people and places and things around you. For those of you who are homeowners, I want to invite you to close your eyes just for a second and think back to the pride you felt in your first home. Some of you may still be living there. Others, like me, have to go back a little bit. So, okay, you can open your eyes now. So my husband and I purchased our first home back before we were married. I was working retail at Marshall Fields in the Galleria, and he was working downtown. We actually took out a map and we used our tape measure to figure out where exactly the middle location was between the two of us. We found this cute little 1928 house. I think it was maybe 1,100 square feet when we lived there for 20 years. When we moved into our first house, our neighbor, Mrs. Gooch, who lived in the same house that she had grown up in, came over and showed me how to work all the breakers. She didn't have any kids of her own, but she always was surrounded by nieces and nephews. And then they'd all come and join us up on our front porch, and other neighbors would stop by and all circle around. And these are some of my favorite happy memories of being a homeowner. Years later, it was another neighbor who became a dear friend, David Keene, who said, "You've got to get involved with this wonderful organization." Well, that's called Houston Habitat for Humanity, and that's the way I actually came to work at Houston Habitat for Humanity. Good neighbors. Lesson number 3. Lower income homeowners make great homeowners. Think about it. They fought hard for that house, and they sure are going to keep up with their mortgage payments. They are going to keep up with the maintenance because they take pride in caring for their appearances. The research tells us that lower income homeowners are the least likely to be foreclosed upon. I first volunteered in a habitat building project in 1998. You may have heard about it. It was led by the famous #1 volunteer, President Carter. Many of you in here, you might have been there as well. I'd like for you to look at his hat. That is a Houston Habitat logo that was designed especially for us by James Avery. We don't use it anymore, but I think it's really pretty. So here in Houston, for this project, we built 100 homes in, get this, a week in June. The Houston Bar Association sponsored and volunteered to build one of those homes. And I should note that Jimmy Carter didn't actually start Habitat for Humanity. He is an amazing volunteer, and he did a lot of work for the organization. So let's fast forward to 2026. Of those 100 homes that we built, 93 of the homeowners have completely paid off their mortgages. And that's just not their mortgages that they paid. They've also paid their taxes. Our Habitat homeowners in the Houston area pay almost $2 million annually in property taxes. Lesson number 4, homeownership pays social dividends. So just think of what it means for our healthcare system alone when families are able to afford healthy food because they're not spending more than half of their income on rent. When they don't have to rely on the emergency room for care because they can afford insurance and their kids have a safe place to live. So let me tell you a story. We had a family partner who struggled because her son was very, very ill and frequently had to go to the emergency room because of his chronic asthma. When I first met him, he was very pale and he was so fragile that he couldn't go outside and play. Everyone knows what chronic asthma does to a child. So after 6 months, after they'd closed on their home, a sharp, fast boy zoomed by me on his bike, and I said, "Where's your brother?" And he turned to me, and it was actually that little boy. It was amazing how the healthy home saved his health. Because they moved into their new home, his health improved dramatically. Now he's in high school, and he's doing really great. Of course, healthcare is just one example. Another example is education. Children of homeowners are significantly more likely to graduate high school, and they're more likely to go to college. So, with all the benefits of affordable home ownership to the Houston community, this, of course, begs the question, what do we do about it? For starters, we need your voice and your advocacy for home ownership and down payment assistance programs and land development. Your municipal sector knowledge and expertise could make home buying easier for families and your communities. Remind those you talk to that there is a tremendous return on the investment that flows from having more homeowners. Number 2, I want to invite you to use your voice to promote home ownership. So if you have someone who has sent you an email or having a conversation, tell them about Houston Habitat for Humanity. Send them over to us. And number 3, donate your time through volunteerism. Join us, the construction site. Wear a hard hat. Swing a hammer to build affordable homes. And if you are able, donations of funds are always needed. So as I close, I want to leave you with a final thought. The holidays just happened a few weeks ago, and I'm sure many of you hosted dinners and family get-togethers. Oops. Uh-oh. Close. Ta-da! Having a place to call home often means the most to families around the holidays. I remember the first family holiday we hosted in our little house. We had my brother over, and my mom, and my dad. To be honest, the turkey I made was not good, but I remember how hard I worked on the lemon meringue pie, and it came out spectacular. So if I close my eyes, I can still see what it was like, just like yesterday. No doubt many of you have memories just like that. All across Houston, there are families who started their own holiday tradition last month around a dining room table, surrounded by loved ones in their new forever home. There are also families who will just have to make do. We want more families to be able to host big dinners and celebrations in their own home, which they own, that will be a sanctuary for themselves and for their family. And my friends, this is something we can solve here in the greater Houston area. I'd love it if someday there was no longer a need for an organization like Houston Habitat because everyone had a decent place to live, a place that doesn't require them to choose between paying for their week's groceries or catching up on last month's rent. I want to leave you with this one last thought. A family's home is a sanctuary, their castle, their place where love is all around. Children grow up, mom and dad come home at the end of a busy workday, and the grandparents look back on a life well lived. This is why our work to put families into homes is so meaningful, so impactful, so important. And it's why our work together can have such a wide-reaching impact. Our cities are essential. And you know what? Affordable home ownership is essential to our city's own health and wellness. Thank you. Together, we can build more homes and stronger communities. Have a great day.